an amazing career. I guess, how did you get this job?
That is the number one question I get, and it's usually said with a little more incredulousness. It's like, how did you get that job? I actually auditioned. My background is musical theater. I went to Syracuse University and I moved to New York City. When you're a musical theater major, you are considered a triple threat because you can sing, act, and dance. And when I moved to New York City, I realized I wasn't threatening at all. People are really talented in New York, but I did a lot of improv. I kept at it. I waited on tables for almost a decade, kept submitting my picture to casting directors, and one fine day, I got called to audition, and that eventually led me to be on the Travel Channel.
Yeah.
So no experience. People are like, were you a journalist? Were you a traveler? I really had very little experience before I got the job in travel.
But that goes to show a lot of hard work, talent, and being in the right place at the right time. A lot of effort. So what's it like being a host on the Travel Channel? When you were on the Travel Channel, what was that like?
It was wonderful. I really truly had the best job in the world. I was with the Travel Channel for about 10 years solidly, and then 5 years on and off, so 15 years in total. And in that time, I helped create 200 hours of travel television. That is a phenomenal amount of, thank
Amazing.
you. 200 hours of television. I was at the helm of 13 different series. I spent 3 years just doing a series about staying in hotels. And when the Travel Channel job had ended, I spent a week cataloging every single trip I had done for those years. And it was over 24,000 hours traveling. Remember Malcolm Gladwell wrote that book, The Tipping Point, 10,000 hours and you're an expert. So I was like, am I an expert? And whew, I was a tired expert, but.
So you had a lot of airtime on the Travel Channel, but you're no longer with the Travel Channel, you're now with PBS.
Yes.
So tell us about that transition, what you're doing now and being on PBS, and how's that different from the Travel Channel?
It's vastly different. So with Travel Channel, which I loved being there, but it slowly started to get away from travel, if you've noticed. It became more about ghosts. And so I saw the writing on the wall. But I knew I still wanted to do a show that for me really showed my approach to travel that wasn't being shown on TV. And so I went to PBS. PBS is where travel shows are now. That's where the best travel series are. And but it's a very, very different model than broadcast television. So with PBS, my husband and I own our own production company, and we raise money every single year, and that money with our sponsors, and we then create 10 to 13 episodes on our dime and the sponsor's dime, and then we give it back to public television for free. I don't receive any money from PBS. But what I get in return is that I own every single inch of my content. Everything I own. I own my brand. I own my image. I own footage, so I can use it any way that I want. But with PBS, I wanted to do a show that was less about my experiencing travel, but really connecting with the people that you meet when you travel. Right, so I feel like there's this whole world that we don't know because we don't talk to people anymore. So it is about connecting with the people who really create the experiences that we as travelers just get to show up and have. And whether it's an amazing meal, a work of art, because when we meet people who, that's what their passion is, we just want to support that effort. And I think that's what we as travelers want to do. We want to support the effort of small businesses, and all of these great people that make travel possible. I'm proud to say that our first season, we took home 2 daytime Emmys. I was really excited about that.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
TV for almost 20 years, yeah. And 2 Emmys do in fact fit into a carry-on suitcase. I think we have that shot of it, because I was not going to check my Emmys. So anyone here who has 22-inch carry-ons, just know, when you win an Emmy, you can fit 2 of them. So I was really proud. But I own everything. And the PBS model has been wonderful. We are the highest rated travel show on PBS. Take that, Rick Steves. But Rick Steves and I are very good friends. If you know Rick Steves, he's a lovely man. So, yeah.
Congratulations on that. That is amazing. So talk about creative control if you can. PBS, you have complete creative control, the content, the direction, what you want to do, and have those organic experiences. How is that different, or how has that been different a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's just really understanding and being able to move with travel in a way that I think is how people want to experience it. We no longer want to have these massive events that just make us feel like a number or are anonymous. We really do want to connect with the culture. We want to learn about ourselves in the process. And that was just something that I wasn't feeling we were getting anywhere with Travel Channel anymore. And so I know I have the audience for that, to really showcase that. And we've been able to, just, I think, highlight travel in a way that becomes very individual, very powerful, and that powerful, that power that travel has to change your life, to create meaning, is a power that it has whether you're going 10,000 miles away to Asia or just maybe 2 hours away in your own home state. And so I feel like that was a real mission for us, is to show that, no, you don't have to plan and save for 5 years to go somewhere special. You could go on a weekend trip. And so when we do a series and we block out where we're going to go, we do the exclamation point destinations, but we also do these little jewels, these little unknown towns. Or not unknown, but they're just not, it's not the first thing that springs to mind when you're doing, when you're planning travel.
Off
but
the
should.
beaten path.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
it's going to be affordable. It's not going to be inundated with travelers. I think that's something that we're seeing a lot, just this over tourism of spaces that that pent up demand. And so now we're looking to see, well, what's over here that could be more enjoyable, more affordable, and still have that powerful, life-changing moment that travel gives you.
Yeah, I love watching the new content where you're really immersing yourself into the culture, the places, trying things, and eating seaweed straight from the ocean and fun things like that, right? So how did you make the jump into luggage, and how did you get started into your own line of luggage?
This is a really interesting story because in about 2010, Travel Channel hired a branding company to see what would a Travel Channel line look like on QVC. And so they hired this branding company, and the branding company basically came back and said, well, your name, Travel Channel, isn't going to sell luggage, but her name will. And for this really enlightening piece of information, they were going to take 40% of the profits. And so even Travel Channel was like, yeah, heck no, we're not doing that to her. We're not doing that to us. This deal is done. So then my time with the Travel Channel ended, and we took that idea to HSN. And HSN had already had this amazing manufacturer that they wanted me to meet. And it was 24/7. I believe they're here in the audience, Scott Kozman and Chris.
Raise your hand, Chris.
We've been here, we've been together, we've had a relationship for 12, 13 years. And this is our first field trip together, our second location. I love it. But yeah, so it has been a really amazing journey. But that's how it initially got started. It wasn't just like, yeah, I'm gonna put my name on luggage.
Yeah. So doing that, what did you want to bring to the travel industry by doing this?
A lot. This was around 2011, 2010. And I think it was 2008 that the airlines first introduced baggage fees. I think they allowed you to check one for free, but then like the second and the third they would charge. Amazing, I forget that totally. And it changed everything, that all of a sudden everyone needed a carry-on. And there were even people like, well, what is a carry-on? Well, what size does the carry-on have to be?
Yeah.
And it just now became this, instead of just getting rid of my luggage, you now had this piece of luggage with you for 10, 15 hours from the parking lot into the airport to your gate. And it became this like toddler that no one wanted to have.
Right.
And so there was a real negative stigma to luggage. And I wanted to change that narrative. For me, I wanted you to love luggage. Luggage for me was my set of wheels. It's how I got to have every adventure I've ever had. So with Chris and Scott at 24/7, we wanted to bring the emotional value back into luggage. What made you feel great about carrying it? How was it going to help you? And the first part of that narrative was color. Just bringing color back. At this time, again, like the number one bag to have was that ballistic nylon Toomey bag. Everyone had it. You either had a black bag or maybe you went really crazy and you had a deep purple aubergine bag. But there was very little color. So we wanted to change it that way. Another, because I think at the time that I started to, help design my own luggage, I had 21 pieces of luggage that just didn't work. And I'm talking like personal items, backpacks, luggage, the whole bit. And so one thing I noticed because I had my Toomey, and I love Toomey. Toomey's a great brand, but Toomey always had that, and they still have it, that front U-shaped pocket, that big deep pocket. I remember asking someone, "What is that pocket for?" And they said, "Well, it's for a pair of men's shoes." Well, I don't have a pair of men's shoes. I still travel for a living. I'm still a business woman. And so that business person travel look was very male. And how a bag was organized and designed was very male-centric. And so it was about just changing pockets and creating places where you could put, like, I know as women, we always get cold. We're always cold. So what's that spot on your luggage that you could put a shawl, you could put a little cardigan, always have access to it. And then it was just kind of talking through that. Another great thing about HSN is I get to talk to the customer, face to face on camera, essentially. When you walk into a store, it's a sea of luggage. You may not get someone helping you. You have no idea why that bag is better than that bag. And so at the time, especially, 10, 11 years ago, it was so confusing what a carry-on is, what are the dimensions. They were different from what the airlines were saying, from what manufacturers were saying.
Some of the
features. So it was just literally getting on TV saying, this is the bag. This is why this is going to work. So it was being more personal and all of a sudden turning that narrative to luggage to being a more positive experience.
So designing is something you've learned from. There were bags that worked, bags that didn't work, male-centric bags. Tell me about the design process. How do you go about and process and create the bags, the line of bags, not only the bags, but the whole Samantha Brown line? How do you do that? What do you do?
It's really fun. And first, may I say, when I first started to put my name on luggage, I wanted to throw up. Because for 10 years, I was just who I am. I am my image, I am on camera and who I am, and all of a sudden the idea of putting my name on a product scared the crap out of me. But we did it. I was just like, I gotta do this because I believed in it. And I believed in the people who I was working with and they believed in me. So it wasn't just like, hey, I'm gonna have a luggage line. It was nothing like that because you have a responsibility once you are a product. You have a deep responsibility. And so designing the luggage is all about keeping up with that trust that you've established, as well as the responsibility to deliver someone a better, easier travel experience. And so it's great, like 24/7, they are located in New Jersey. I'm in Brooklyn, New York, so I drive over to their showroom, and we're looking at pieces that I've done in the past. We're looking at pieces that they're seeing that are sort of new and exciting and different features that they have. I'm in airports all the time, and I just watch. I watch how people use their luggage. If I'm in, Changi in Singapore, if I'm in Schiphol in Amsterdam, I'm going to see the different people, what are they doing, and just see what works.
Research.
Well, a lot of market research with a cup of coffee, sitting, in gate 37, just watching people go by, just to see how people are struggling. What's working, what's not, and then we start designing it. I then get either the prototype that day, because I see something that I like, and then I use it. And it doesn't put, we don't put my name on it until I've used it for a good 3-4 months, and I say, this is I like this.
So you field test it. Once you get a piece, you see what works, you see what doesn't work, and then how do you make iterations? What do you do to make changes? Do you talk with the team at 24/7? Do you give feedback? Tell us about that process, iterating.
Yeah, absolutely. I talk to with Chris, we're one-on-one, and I'll say, I love this pocket, but it's still too small, and I feel like this is where she wants to put her wallet, and that wallet is a standard 8 inches, so we want to make sure that pocket is big enough to accommodate. Hey, this pocket on the side is cool. How about we plastic line it, because then she can put an umbrella or a wet bathing suit. Those kinds of things, and that only comes from field testing it, seeing where it really is successful, and then what could make it that much more personal, because travel is personal, and just having basic features, it just doesn't really cut it anymore.
Okay, so you field test it, you have a product, now it's ready for market. Tell us the process and how you sell the product now on HSN. How does that work?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So at HSN, you have basically, we'll have a luggage piece, and it will be the today's special. So it is the item that is highlighted for 24 hours. And I'm on camera for 10 hours selling that luggage. I go on at midnight and go on for a 2-hour block till 2 a.m. Then I come back, I go back on camera about 9 a.m. and then I have 2-hour blocks until midnight that night.
And this is live?
This is live television.
Wow.
And so you are seeing how much you're selling, you're seeing what's really resonating, you're seeing when it's not resonating, but you're selling it live. And again, what I love about that is I get to talk to that customer face to face and really make the case why this luggage is important, why you're going to love this.
So you promote on HSN, you sell on HSN, you see the feedback in real time.
Yeah.
So beyond that, how do you promote your brand? I know I follow you on social media. What else do you do to promote Samantha Brown, your luggage, and your brand?
I'm lucky that I've been around for so long that I've been able to go on like Today Show with Hoda and Jenna to talk about luggage packing tips. I've done CNN work with luggage tips, and even though I can't say, hey, this is my luggage, I'm still going to bring my luggage, and that's something that they always say, we have luggage for you. I'm like, oh no, no, I have my own luggage,
right.
And I won't promote the brand, but I don't get seen with anything other than my luggage.
Yeah.
So if you want me to come on, I get to show, again, I'm not saying, hey, this is my Samantha Brown luggage, you can't plug, it's not plug-ola, play-ola. But it at least gives me a chance to show the luggage.
Especially if you've designed it, you know the features, and if they ask you a question, well, what about this? Your luggage is there, you know exactly how to promote it and talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. Or like someone's watching, and if I'm not using my luggage, like she's not even using her luggage, like, yes I am.
So your product came out in roughly 2011?
Yes,
Oh.
it's 2011. Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of market shifts happen in the industry, right? Tell us about what you've seen and how you've been able to navigate some of those market shifts.
I think I was telling you, Josh, when we were talking about this, how when we first started on HSN, 4 wheels was a big deal.
That's right.
It was a 2-wheel bag, and we also had to convince people that 4 wheels. Actually, I had to be convinced that 4 wheels was the way to go.
Really?
And I'm a 4-wheel wheeler. But just like, it's just incredible the changes, and I feel like in the beginning to now, like travel and luggage especially is just having this it girl moment on social media. Like luggage is about freedom. It is that sense of adventure. It's no longer seen as this thing you're like, oh, I have to go get luggage. Oh, I have to go to that store and get, like, people are really excited to try different colors, different brands. And I just think luggage is where she should be, which is right up there with fashion and function and just being absolutely a part of the travel experience. So I love the fact that like luggage is the it girl of social media right now, definitely.
It is, and what we've seen is, and in the show, there's a lot of brands, there's a lot of retailers, and it's a hub, a connection point, right? But there's also been an online shift too, where Amazon and online sales are taking a lot of market, and now social media has been a very important spot for promoting. What other shifts, and how do you navigate that as a brand, going from maybe a brick and mortar online content creator, social media? What do you see happening there?
I think it's a huge shift. I think, where before you might think about luggage once a year when you needed it, right? Or maybe you have a trip coming up and a week before the trip you're like, oh, I should probably get a bit better bag. Now, if you're on social media, which I know we all are, I'm inundated with luggage ads, travel good ads, basic bags, backpacks, packing cubes, and if you just, any time anyone spends on social media on any product, you get more ads and more profiles. So I feel like travel is just reaching people every single day, every moment of the day. So it's a real opportunity for luggage manufacturers and people who make bags to reach people, because it's not just when people are thinking about travel, you are able to reach people every single day with your message and your product.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how do you see social media content creators playing a role in the travel goods space, this industry?
I think they play an important role.
Yeah.
I think, again, I don't know many people who are like, oh, I'm going to just go see, what new luggage manufacturers are out there and go to their website to see what happens. No one's going to do that due diligence or that research.
Yeah.
You're just looking at your social media. You follow people who you like their lifestyle, you like what they do, especially if they're a traveler, a traveling family, or a traveling solo female. You're following them, and now you see them, use a particular bag, and now you're seeing that bag in action. And I always think, you go to websites and it always shows the bag so perfect, right? And it's just these beautiful floors of airports. And when you're with an influencer and a content creator, you're actually seeing them in action. Right? It might be raining, they're checking into the hotel.
Right.
It makes the product more real and more relatable.
And there's also, like you talked about, your brand. You're building trust. When people see that, they can say, I follow this person, or they relate to that person, and you build trust. But there's also a level of responsibility, I think, that comes with that. How do you navigate that?
Yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah.
I think trust is everything, and that's what I've spent 25 years building, trust, and I never let that go. And so you may see content creators kind of jump on the bandwagon of always selling things.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important step to step back from. And it's about building trust, giving away free information in terms of what you know, and then you start to slowly incorporate some of the products that make your life different. Because if you're constantly selling something, if everything is a buy on Amazon, and I follow those people too, where everything is just what are the next 10 useless items that I need to have, and it's maddening. But if you have those people that just need one product and that's what they're going to do, that month or for the next 6 months, it has more of an impact.
Yeah. So what might a successful collaboration between a brand and a content creator look like? Because a lot of, I think, brands are trying to navigate it. It's somewhat new.
Yeah.
But collaborators, content creators, are looking at maybe helping brands too. So what might a successful collaboration look like?
I think on the brand side, you need to follow social media and follow the influencers who really do have that influence.
Right.
And then really connect with their lifestyle. So if you're an off the beaten path adventure backpack, you're probably not going to partner up with someone who's very fashion oriented and likes to stay in cities and nice luxury hotels, right? So obviously there's your brand has to match the lifestyle that this content creator has created. So that's really important. And then I think it's really important to be in it for the long haul. Like a really good friend of mine, Angel Castellanos, I think he's speaking.
He's going to be here, yeah.
He's had a 15-year relationship with Bricks. That's huge.
It is.
And just as long, I think, with Eagle Creek. And so you've seen, and this is what I love, like you see the content creators, their lives change over years, and they still have this one bag. So I would really implore the brands to look at the content creators who they like, and understand that maybe this shouldn't just be like a 3 or 4 month activation. Yeah. This really should be like, how long can we stay in this? A long-term relationship. Yeah. So we see your life change, but they always have that bag.
That's incredible. Yeah. Excellent advice. So, trade shows like this, the Travel Goods Show.
Yeah, you're back.
We're back, yes. It's so exciting to be back. Yes, thank you. Why are trade shows like this important?
Do you know most of my business actually comes from being in trade shows? So
really?
It's all about meeting people face to face. And it's interesting if you think about it, we all have different areas of expertise in the travel world right now in this room. And yet we all kind of want the same thing. We all want people to travel easier. Yeah. And we want people to travel more. It's very simple. And so this is where you meet, and this is where you begin relationships. And maybe it's just, a handshake, but you would be amazed 4, 5, 10 years down the line how that one handshake and that one greet all of a sudden has changed into something else because they keep seeing you. Yeah. They keep seeing you at conventions. So we go to a World Travel Market in London. Yeah. to meet destinations. My husband was just at ITB in Berlin, and that's all about meeting people from destinations. I do speaking engagements at Travel Adventure, which is a conference that meets people face to face, travelers, and I talk to them directly about how they perceive my show. I love conventions. I think it's absolutely imperative to create those relationships and then keep returning. Don't just think one time you've been there is enough. It's the next year and the next year. And then people say, oh, they're showing up. Oh, I trust them. And that's where the trust begins.
Yeah, that's one thing I really like about this show is my first year attending, it was new. Next year, I saw a lot of familiar faces, and it just grew from that. So thank you for sharing that insight. Samantha, are you okay if we take a few questions from the audience?
Yeah, of
You're
course,
okay with that?